I'm fine with it. I want to make sure it's good and solid and everything else, but I'm good with it. If you like crypto in any form, if you're in favor of crypto, you better vote for Trump.
Well, I definitely know who I would be voting for. Crypto has seen an unbelievable 48 hours. Some of the biggest catalysts have occurred within these last 2 days. Now, when Donald Trump spoke on the 8th of May 2024, with that clip I just provided, I truly believe that has changed crypto forever. Donald Trump coming out, publicly endorsing, publicly shilling and praising cryptocurrency, basically telling us, if you're pro-crypto, vote for Trump. And we know crypto as a community, it's like a cult. Now, the backlash of this, we've seen Joe Biden do a complete 180 towards cryptocurrency. We saw Joe Biden didn't veto the FIT21 bill passed through the Senate in the US. It actually got approved through the Senate. Unbelievable news for cryptocurrency. We've seen banks denied access to CBDCs. Even better for cryptocurrencies. Now we have an Ethereum ETF. 72 hours ago, no such thing. There was a 5 to 10% chance of an Ethereum ETF. Now we have one approved with flying colors. We have BlackRock, Fidelity, selling, praising Ethereum as the next best thing. Truly unbelievable what 48 hours can do in cryptocurrency. Like I said, we saw the FIT21 bill pass through the Senate. Then we see CBDCs not granted to banks. Now we have an Ethereum ETF. Look, the proof is in the pudding. We saw what happened with Bitcoin with its ETF. Price went from 42 to 45,000, straight to 75,000 within 2 to 3 months. Now, the Ethereum's not going to act like Bitcoin straight away, as it won't be trading a day or two after, similar to Bitcoin. But we could expect maybe 2 to 3 weeks, maybe pushing 2 to 3 months, really depends how this thing works out, until these ETFs get live. 8 Ethereum ETFs in the US. This is massive. Like I said, I truly believe this presidential election is going to be one of the biggest catalysts for this bull run. Election years are normally very big for the markets in general, not just crypto, but the S&P 500, gold, commodities. It's always good in an election year, as the candidates want to make sure the election is good, especially the current president. They don't want to be going into an election with the economy in turmoil. So we're going to have Joe Biden here and then Donald Trump here saying they're going to do this for crypto, publicly shilling crypto to the whole of the United States. And I can just imagine after one speaks positively, the other speaks even higher, promising this, promising that. The charts will be unprecedented and something we've never seen before. This is something that excites me. Very, very exciting times for cryptocurrency. We've seen the government completely shift in the US towards cryptocurrency. Now that Donald Trump spoke, we got some big things on our way. God willing, I think we're at the start of one of the biggest crypto bull runs. Some say we're already in it. Of course we are. We're up from 15,000 up to 74,000. But that real crypto summer that we've all been waiting for, I think is right around the corner. And I can't wait. I'm going to provide to you in today's video a couple of charts to help gain confidence and a peace of mind to show you what the future has in store. Let's get into it. I want to head on to TradingView. Now, we can see here, January the 11th, 2024. This was the day of the Bitcoin ETF approval. And we can see lots of volatility. We saw massive runs, big corrections, massive runs, big corrections leading into the day of approval. Then we can see here on the day of approval, it wicked all the way up to about 49,000. And then within the space of 3 to 4 days, we had a correction of roughly 21%. Now, a lot of that correction was due to Grayscale dumping as soon as the Bitcoin got approved. So we saw large amounts of outflows thanks to Grayscale, which we could see once again with the Ethereum ETF. But once the outflows started to steady, and those inflows really started to ramp up, and institutional demand really kicked in. Look at this. From a low back down to 38,000, just non-stop. 38,000 up to 73,000. That is how I see this playing similar out. So if we move into the Ethereum chart, we go here. Similar to Bitcoin. Even January this year, this massive run of close to 87%, close to 90% was due to the Ethereum ETF hype. Then this last large sell-off was due to Gary Gensler and the SEC trying to claim Ethereum as a security and not a commodity, putting a lot of FUD in the market. Then, 3 days ago, we saw the news completely switch thanks to Eric Balchunas and James Seyfarth, predicting now a 75% chance of an Ethereum ETF. And we saw Ethereum pump close to 20 to 30% in a day. That's this massive God candle here. Now, where can I see Ethereum playing out in this situation? Not financial advice, but we are in a bit of a different situation with this Ethereum ETF, as it's not trading exactly the day after or 2 days after, similar to Bitcoin. We are expecting a 2 to 3 week delay until these things start trading and are available to the open market. From there, I do believe we can start to see a bit of a correction, a bit of a pullback to around that 3,200 level, which is the 50% from the peak of 4,100 down to the trough of about 2,800. The middle of that is about 3,200. Thanks to Jason and Michael Bacino, they taught me this one, and 50% levels always act as buying pressure when it's coming down and selling pressure when it's coming approached from the underside. So 3,200 could provide key support. If not, anything about 3,400, 3,500 for a round number. And 2,800 is that support we need to be holding. Anything under 2,800 will be extremely bearish, but I think that 3,200 will be very strong. Also acts as some local tops in the market. So, what can I see happening for the next 2 to 3 weeks? I think Ethereum starts to range, if not trickle down. Once we get these trading on the live market, I believe we can see something similar to Bitcoin, a bit of a drawdown. Then, once that retail and that institutional FOMO really starts to kick off, that's when we'll see those price predictions really kick off. I saw a tweet on X not too long ago. It said Bitcoin broke its new all-time high, or its cycle high, so intermediate high, within 15 to 16 days after the approval, and then it doubled in price 60 days after the approval. So 60 days from the approval date will put us roughly July, end of July, early August, if we are around that 60-day mark, until we could potentially see Ethereum double in price. Isn't that amazing? A scenario we'd all love to see. Ethereum at 7,000 to 8,000 by beginning of August, end of July. That's, of course, if those inflows are highly in demand in similar to Bitcoin. So, that's the first little chart that we're able to get into. Now, let's get into the second one. Next, I want to give a shout out to Parabolic Pump on X. This is an account I follow very heavily and very closely. A lot of his stuff is spot on. Now, I want to start on the far left of this chart here. This is the BTC dominance chart. We can see when BTC dominance plummets, this is when the big altcoin season starts. And normally, these big corrections, capitulations start when the BTC dominance breaks key support. We can see here, 2017 key support, massive drawdown. Back here once again, created a bit of a double top, massive drawdown. That was the old season of 2021. Now, the pattern we're forming for 2024 is we're forming this kind of rising wedge with a strong support line that's been intact since 2022. We can see that with this large white line here. Every time price touches this white line, it gets bounced, bounces back up, touch again, bounces back up. This has acted as a key upward trending support line and has provided support for BTC for the last year and a half, 2 years. Well, this week, with the announcement of the Ethereum ETF, the market dominance for BTC has broken that trend line. We can see from that little red candle there. Now, if we can see a weekly close underneath this trend line, this will be extremely bullish for the altcoin season that we're all waiting for. Now, like I said, a weekly close behind this, and we have key support here around 57%, which acted as support here, and was once again that support that got broken back in 2021 that started that big altcoin season. So resistance there, which we touched already. Old support now flipped into resistance. Resistance once again. Now the support of this upward trending support line has now been broken. If we can see a weekly close below that, we could see the BTC dominance now in a downtrend. Now this is something very, very bullish for altcoin season. That is the second chart of today's video. Now let's get into the third one. Now, for the final chart of today's video, once again, I've got to give a shout out to Raoul Pal. This is his chart, what he likes to call the banana zone. Let me explain. I know it's a bit of a weird name, but let me explain where he gets this from. So, we can see 4 stages in the global liquidity index. We see the green, which is the spring, yellow, which is summer, the reddish maroon type, which is the fall, and the light blue, which is winter. Normally, winter and spring are the slow, damp, quite depressing months when it comes to global liquidity. Liquidity meaning money flowing into the markets. Now, we know the more money flowing into the markets, especially risk-on markets / assets such as crypto, stocks, is very good for the market. The more money that flows in, the higher the prices pump. Now, we can see the green, the light blue. It's quite boring. Let's look last cycle as an example. 2018, quite slow, quite damp. In the winter, in the spring, once again, kind of just consolidating. Now, follow my cursor here. 2020, and a big thanks to this was due to the COVID crash. Jerome Powell and the Fed really turned the money printer on. But look at this, during 2020, look at that massive run-up in the liquidity in the US, not just the US, but the globe. Then fall once again. We got that peak at the end of fall, beginning of winter. Winter starts to plummet down. Then winter, spring, just consolidating. Now, for the last 1 to 2 months, we've just entered the liquidity index's summer. It's coincidence how the liquidity index's summer perfectly aligns with crypto summer, or within the next 2 to 3 months. Truly unbelievable how these stars aligned. Not financial advice, but God willing, these things are really started to add up. Now, we're entering that yellow zone, and from history, once again, we'll go back to the last cycle, which is kind of in correlation the most with this 2023, 2024 into 2025 cycle. So we can go 2014 to 2015, stale, quite depressing, quite damp, liquidity didn't move too much. We get into summer, big run-ups, then we get into fall, an even larger run-up in the liquidity index. Now, like I said, we just entered into the summer for 2024, then the fall of 2025, with an expectation of 2026 being that cold, damp winter where that liquidity falls off, perfectly aligning with our 18.6-year real estate cycle, where we're expecting a large crash similar to 08 happening between that 2026, 2027, 2028. I know that's quite a broad range, but these things, because it's more of a macro level, take a long time to play out. So this is the banana zone from Raoul Pal. We're entering that yellow banana zone that he likes to call the liquidity summer index. where stuff starts to go crazy. This perfectly aligns with crypto summer and crypto's 4-year cycle, and perfectly aligning with the 18.6-year real estate cycle and the winner's curse of the 18.6-year real estate cycle. That is a lot of things to get confident about. All the glory goes to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I couldn't have done it without him. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.